A peaceful and a healthy morning, dear grade 11 learners, and of course to my fellow senior high school teachers and those who are watching today. Welcome to our Valenzuela live streaming for the Reading and Writing Skills, Week 4, Lesson 4. Valenzuela learners, we are virtually gathered again to share more reading and writing related topics for further academic adventure. But before we proceed, let me just check your presence today by having your comments in the comment section with your full name, grade and section, and lastly, the name of your school. Before we continue, let us have a simple review of the different classifications of discourse materials or texts. If you can still remember, let's begin. What do you think of the first picture? Okay, very good. Description is the answer. Let's have the next. What do you think of the second pictures? Nice one. It tells a story, it narrates, so it is a narration. Let's have the third illustration. What do you think is it? Brilliant. A poetic structure making it samples of literary discourses. Let's now have the fourth images. What classification is it? Very well done. News and anything explaining and sharing facts and information are called exposition. And lastly, what do you think is in the picture? Opinions are definitely about argumentation. Wow, such a good work. A virtual thumbs up for all of you. As we learn the different texts useful in both reading and writing, let us now go get a blast of this IQ test drills. Let us figure the next figures. Surely you are ready. Let's start. Which set of shapes is next? Okay, correct. You got it. It's letter D. Moving on to the next. Which figure do you think is it? Okay, right about a domino. It is letter A. What about the next figure? Very well chosen. It is letter E. You're doing great. What about the fourth logical image? Excellent. It is letter B. And finally, which letters seem to be in the odd string? All right. Absolutely right. It is letter E. Genius. You got it all right. As you find the figure puzzles and abstract tests a little tricky and confusing, it is also the same when we search and find information. Connection, organization, and conceptualization is needed in order to sort these relevant details for further understanding. Previously, we have already discussed some techniques in selecting and organizing information. And before we continue, let us dig deep again to these target competencies. Today, we will continue distinguishing between and among techniques in selecting and organizing information by first knowing the importance of organizing and selecting information. We will also differentiate techniques in organizing information and apply techniques in such. Examples, the use of network trees, problem solution map, timelines, and outlining. Since we're talking about techniques, let us first define technique. So what is it? Technique is a method or approach that a writer may use in organizing and unifying information collected. It is a way to complete one's writing piece and, of course, to improve one's writing craft. One of the most commonly used is brainstorming. where we gather details and choose the best and the most relevant and useful information. We also use graphic organizers and outlines to simplify and organize the information collected. So here are some of the examples of graphic organizers. First is network trees, which is used to represent hierarchy, classification, and branching of informations. Tree diagrams are commonly used in showing family trees, scientific categories, lineages, and even organizational charts. Finding solutions to problems are carried well through the use of problem-solution map. It displays the nature of the problem and how it can be solved. It usually contains problem descriptions, causes and effects, and logical solutions. Timelines are the next. These are very useful in sorting information, especially in indicating the flow of events and historical happenings. It shows events chronologically through a long bar of labels of dates which can be both linear or comparative. So what are linear timeline and comparative timeline? Let's start first with linear timeline. Linear timeline shows how events happen within one period. For example, look at this wedding timeline. It illustrates the exact time and event specifics of this certain important day. Comparative timeline, on the other hand, shows two or more subject areas which occurred at the same time. The example of it is presented in here. It shows the US president's leadership regime in line with the dates of inventions. These are good examples, with its year arranged chronologically as well. Graphic organizers are very specified in contents and can present details in an organized fashion. Concepts are further presented for a more effective reading and writing experience, similar to our next technique, which is none other than the outline. Outlines serve as a blueprint, a plan of your paper. It shows the order of topics with relative importance and various relationships of each part. It is a way of formally arranging and developing your ideas with its two types. We have the topic outline and the sentence outline. A topic outline shows the headings in single words or brief phrases, while the sentence outline expresses headings in complete sentences. Here are the following examples of it. As what you can see with the topic outline, we have the negative effects of divorce on adolescents, and on the other side are the waste management related information, which shows sentence outlining. Outlines are classified into two types, the alphanumeric outline and the decimal outline. Alphanumeric outlines use both letters and numbers as labels, while the decimal outline use only numbers as labels. To show it clearly, we have both its formats in the example of writing an essay outline. Here are such. Outlines are usually containing main headings, followed by subheadings and supporting details. Examples are further enumerated if necessary. In order to know the significance of outlining, the following principles are needed to be remembered. Outlining needs coordination, subordination, division, and parallel construction. Let's start with coordination. It requires ideas at the same relevance to be labeled in the same way. Ideas must be connected with one another. Subordination is also needed because it shows the minor details that has to be placed under their respective major details. Another one is division. It requires that no cluster should contain only one item. If you're going to have ideas or information, they should at least be two or more in each of the following outlining parts. Lastly is the parallel construction. It requires all entries with each cluster to be used at the same structure or a format. Proper indentions are very important. Outlining also requires certain procedures as a guide in order to create a more specific and informative presentation. We have brainstorming, organizing, ordering, and labeling. Brainstorming, it is very important and very useful because it has the list of all the ideas that you want to include in your paper. And after brainstorming, we do organize. So organizing is another step. It groups all related ideas together. And by grouping, we need to put it in sequence. We have ordering. It arranges materials in subsections from general to specific or from abstract to concrete. And lastly, we have labeling. In labeling, we create main ideas and subheadings with the major and minor details. Outlining presents valuable help when we do researches. The following benefits allow us to distinguish it further. First, outlining helps us to easily show the relationship of ideas where linkages of knowledge and details provide connection and relevance. It also helps organize our ideas to make information classified and enumerated in a structured form. Outlining also simplifies and helps us to save time in writing, which is very efficient for writers and those with massive amount of writing works and deadlines to beat. Also, it helps effective reading, writing, and even speaking. We read to write something and we write to have it read by the readers. When we deliver speeches in front of an audience, outlining aligns and arranges the flow of our written speech, making it contributive communicatively and academically. All of the discussed techniques can be applied with the use of personal timelines. In personal timelines, you can actually add your schedules or your routinary activities or your daily tasks. Network trees. Here's the example. It can also help you to present some high school life experiences or even your other memorable achievements in life, even up to date. Problem solution maps, well, it can help you analyze scenarios and enumerate the corresponding solutions to each of the problems. For example, about friendship, relationship, love, whatever you choose. You can also arrange your research contents and other studies with proper outlining, either focusing on topics in a topical form of statements, in sentence presentation as well, or it can also be either in alphanumeric or in decimal format, depending on the writing requirements and the written works. Excellent! Now you are ready to gather and organize information. Reach your goal with the following techniques that we have discussed a while ago. Now, dear students, to further assess your knowledge of what we discussed, let us answer these 5 multiple choice items. Good luck! Let's have the first one. It is a method or approach that a writer may use in organizing and unifying information collected. It is a way to complete one's writing piece and to improve one's writing craft. Is it technique, lesson, organization, or a tip? Correct! The answer is technique. Let's have the second one. It uses both letters and numbers as labels. It is an example of an outline format. Is it decimal outline, alphanumeric outline, problem solution map, or a network tree? Brilliant! The answer is alphanumeric outline. What about the third item? It displays the nature of the problem and how it can be solved. Is it a decimal outline, alphanumeric outline, problem solution map, or just timeline? Excellent! The answer is problem solution map. Number 4, it is used to show how events occurred chronologically through a long label of bar with specific dates and specific events. Is it timeline, decimal outline, network tree, or problem solution map? Very well answered. It is timeline. And lastly, it is used to represent hierarchy, classification, and branching. It is very useful in showing categories, family trees, and even lineages. Is it decimal outline, timeline, problem solution map, or network tree? Perfect. The answer is network tree. Awesome! Thank you very much for your participation, learners. To generalize our discussion for this morning, selecting and gathering information require patience and effort, and of course, techniques. As we brainstorm and choose the right and good ideas, we organize it through significant diagrams, patterned and specified with each varied types available, such as the network trees, problem solution maps, and timelines. We form and enumerate contents and concepts using outlines to specify the topics, deliver statements of ideas to be effective and to be easily understood. Let us always find time to search details and bring our efforts to its maximum, to read and write enjoyably and comprehensively. Thank you so much, Valenzuela learners, and happy learning. This ends our virtual live streaming of our reading and writing class. Once again, I'm Sir Alexander Barria from the Ignay National High School Senior High Department, wishing you all the best of health, happiness, and safety in your home. Peace be with us all. Aim high, Valenzuela. God bless. See you all.